Hi there, and welcome to Real Talk with Angry Soccer Mom. This week's discussion topics include anything you feel is newsworthy about racism, bigotry, and inequality in America, and that's pretty much everything, unfortunately. The show is meant to be an opportunity for viewers to have their voice heard and speak their mind, and also as an educational, hey Lakeisha, thanks for being here. As an educational tool for white folks to learn the truth about systemic racism in America, because that's what we're talking about. So welcome everybody. If you're here watching, please say hello. Don't be shy. And we have a lot going on tonight. I hope everyone is up for some serious talking. Hello, Anastasia. Hi, Robert. Oh my gosh. Hi, Michael. I know you're not shy. I know you're not shy. Okay. So for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Angry Soccer Mom, and I host this live show each week on Wednesdays at 9 o'clock on the Angry Soccer Mom YouTube channel. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And all my platforms are centered around educating white America about the reality of our real racial history, and so that white folks can take some racial responsibility and support, not lead. Hey, Vaughn, thanks for being here. Not lead the dismantling of systemic racism in America. And it's no small feat because, yeah. So anyway, we will get started. Jump in anytime. I'm going to try to kind of keep it set because I have topics I've come up with, and there are, question already. Sweet. Anastasia, so oh goodness, let me just scooch this over. There we go. So I just saw a report on the worst of the worst, Laura Ingraham. They mocked, Hustle, guess who got, ooh, Hustle, guess who got arrested for shoplifting? Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's getting ugly out there. I'm going to say, Grady, hello. Oh my gosh, everyone's saying hi. This is awesome. Let me just catch right up. Good evening, dear Kimberly. It's Jean. Oh, Jean. Yay. I can't watch tonight, preparing to go out of town, but I will watch next. Oh, thank you. You are so sweet. You are incredibly, and you're going to come on here sometimes. We have lots planned. All right. Thank you so much. And let me see. You said, have a good trip wherever you're going. Lakeisha, did you see the PBS special Reconstruction? No, I did not. I heard about it, but I didn't see it. I've been so crazy busy. I wish I could see it because I wish there was like 20 more hours left in the day. I have so much to do. But thank you for telling me. And oh, you are so welcome, Grady 8. Mr. F. S. Black, hello. And hi, Anton. Of course. Hi, Anton. Anton, thanks for being here. And I haven't forgotten about the stuff we're going to do. I'm just so behind. So thank you, everybody, for being here. The stuff I have prepared, just a quick overview, is are we doomed? Are we doomed to basically follow the fall of Rome in America? And I'm absolutely serious too. I want to talk about a little bit about executive overreach on steroids. Hello, AKA Trump, and a little bit about Trump's temper tantrums with regards to sanctuary cities. I'm sure you guys know all about this stuff. Representative Omar and her comments and how this is being handled. And Trump and the UN, and the churches, terrorism at the churches, burning, having them burn down, and anything you guys want to talk about. If I don't know about the subject, then you can be the expert and teach us all, and I will read it, okay? Because we're all here to learn. And kitchen politics, where are you? I sent kitchen politics a notice, so he should be here anytime, I hope. Yes, and also the Jewish Holocaust as well. There will be soon. And I know, Anastasia. And I would love for you to elaborate on that. Mentoring 42. Hello. Thank you for being here. Let me just back it up. Anastasia. In 1983, Laura got caught shoplifting, but has the nerve to brand the now dead Nipsey Hussle as a thug. I do not know who that is, but I'm sure it must be pop culture. It must be something pop culture that I never follow pop culture. Guilty guilty as charged. But tell everyone else, because I'm sure everyone else, it's probably common knowledge. It's the way I roll. It's not pretty. I've been doing this for Thomas. Oh my gosh, thank you for being here. Groovy frequency, smooth sound. Good evening. Well, we'll get started. I just went over oh my gosh, this is so exciting. Just went over, a hypocrite. Rapper that was just shot in. Got it. Thank you. I love you guys. You keep me. I sometimes don't follow like music and pop culture stuff, and it's really bad because I can't keep up with the social issues and then the politics. My God, the politics. So I got my hands full. I know you guys do too. I don't know how you keep up with all this stuff. But anyway, I have a rant today, and then we can jump into your subject matter or mine or whatever. So while you're thinking about topics, I want to start out with a confession. I'm not religious, but I can do a confession. Oh, Vaughn, or Maya, is it Joseph? Oh my gosh. I'm going to say it. I'm just going to butcher these names. Known professionally as Nipsey Hussle, was an American rapper, songwriter, entrepreneur, and community activist from Los Angeles, California, where I'm from. Oh, wow. Michael, if we talk about right-wing hypocrisy, we'll never get to the topics. We all know that conservatives and Christians are hypocrites. No need to talk about the bazillion instances. Good point. Yeah. Gary, yay! Great to have you here. Anastasia, as you know, the U.S. is aligned with the fall of Rome. If you study the Jewish Holocaust and the events that preceded it, you will see we are on our way to another Black Holocaust. And unfortunately, I don't know what else to think. And so I was going to talk about it a little bit, do a rant, and then everyone jump on in, and I will get started. And hopefully I have some breaks where I can jump in and make sure I get everybody's comments and whatever you have comments. Okay, so you're thinking about your topics. I will start with a confession. My confession. Before Trump and his clan arrived on the scene, I wasn't into politics. I'm still not into politics. My interest and focus has always been about, my life has kind of surrounded social issues, social justice, equality, equity, education. So here's my problem. It's not that it's not that I don't get we're in a system that has politics. It's that I don't think these issues are political. I just don't believe it's my own philosophy. I don't believe that human rights and civil rights are a political issue. I think they're a human one. So I never got into it. But then we had Trump treating our fellow humans like crap. And basically, he changed everything because Panama girl, hello, thank you. So treating people like humans, it's really nothing to do with politics in my mind. I know people will disagree, but it's in my head. You're not going to get it out. Mr. FS Black, how weird is it that the U.S. is willing to send aid to France for the Notre Dame, but not Haiti, Puerto Rico, or even Flint, Michigan? Mr. FS Black, I was thinking about that today, and I am saddened because in my very, very not humble opinion, our nation is a wealthy nation. We seem to come up with money left and right for things we want. Why don't we have enough money for everything like that? You know the answer. Because if it happens to someone who's brown, indigenous, or native, or black or African American, our nation was founded on white supremacy. We just don't give a shit. And I'm saying we, obviously proverbial we, it's not everybody, but it's enough that we allow our national government to do this. It wouldn't take that many people getting this stuff, getting educated and educating a few more people and a few more people and a few more people for a lot of people to get this. And it's disgusting and it's terrifying. And I think it'll ultimately end up being the demise of our country, but not to be the soothsayer of doom. But yeah, it's unconscionable. It's disgusting. This is a wealthy country. We just have really crappy values. And I say we, obviously our government, greed over people, the way it goes. Rights are defined by political philosophy and political documents. Just saying, I know, but I just want to be like the queen of what I say goes. Yeah, it's just my own philosophy. Groovy Frequency says, the reason race has become political is because our government uses race in politics to keep us separated, fighting with each other, and uninformed. Absolutely. Anastasia, I'll get you, Michael, for this. Okay, I totally get that, but I can't help but think that it's just, I don't know. You can counsel me after. Okay. Thank you, Michael. Thank you. You're very sweet. Robert, it's not so weird. They send money anywhere but to Black and brown nations. Yeah, it's disgusting, and that is just the tip of the freaking iceberg, or the tip of the melting icebergs that won't be there anymore if Trump had his way. Yeah, I'm angry, and it's so funny. I mean, it's not funny; it's pathetic. People constantly say, "Oh, you just feel guilty, you white lady." I'm like, "Oh my God, say it to my face." It's like, you have no freaking clue. I don't feel guilty. I'm pissed. I don't want to live in a society where I have to, and all my friends and all my kids and my family and everyone that I don't even know has to sit here and watch this disgust. It's it's the guilt. Okay, I admit it. I'm sorry. Fine, you're right. It's like, I just want to go, my God, you just don't get it. I don't feel guilty. I'm angry. It's betrayal. It's betrayal of our fellow humans. And can I say? But they still call me, they just say I feel guilty in it. They can think what they want. It's fine. But Michael, right. Exactly. I don't feel guilty. I didn't do it. Guess what? Why should I feel guilty? You didn't do anything. Everyone exactly was born into this. No one here today was a slave. But guess what? The repercussions of decisions that were made historically before us are devastating to people today. So if you see it, it's like, this is what I say, and I'll say it every time, and then I will stop blabbing. Why would you walk by someone who, your fellow human, who might be suffering or drowning in a pool or slowly drowning, go, I didn't shove them in, so who gives a shit? I mean, that's messed up. Or, I didn't build the pool, so who cares? I mean, it's inhumane. We see it, and it's called being human. Karma's a bitch. They'll get theirs, Robert. Yeah. You know what? I'm not waiting for karma. But Michael, absolutely. I don't feel guilty. I didn't do anything. I was born into this. But now that I see what's going on, I'm going to do something. And being nice to everybody doesn't cut it. It's a nice gesture. It's a nice thing. But we're a little beyond that. Being nice to everybody. And, I treat everyone nicely and equally. And that's really nice. But you see, we have to dismantle this thing. It's not going to go, being nice is lovely, but unfortunately, we're way past that point for white folks. And again, I speak to white folks. I don't have anything to teach Black people or Indigenous people or, Carrie, exactly. I have no patience for karma to catch up. I don't either. And I'm realistic. I know it's a long shot, but you know what? I do this for me. Yes, people mistake being nice as weak. And I actually posted something on that the other day. I put, don't mistake my kindness for weakness. It is a lot easier to be an asshole. Sorry, I swear a lot. It's a lot easier to be an asshole than to be a good person. It's taking the better, more humane route is always the harder part. How do we know this? Because everyone would be doing it if it was easy. And it never is. Great point. Great point. Yeah, being an asshole is easy. I hate to say it, but fire burns at the same. Oh, okay. Mentoring 42. I'm going to try to read this. Jerusalem's owl. Can't read that word. Moss. Fire burns at the same time as flames engulf Notre Dame. Cathedral. Oh, wow. Really? Got that twice. Really? Tell us more. If you know stuff about that I don't know, which you probably do, bring it on. I will read it out and people can talk about it. So no one's talking about it. Of course they're not. Yep, of course they're not. I believe it, but we can do that here. Kim, oh, thank you. I empathize with, yes, these are my fellow humans. It's kind of one of those things that this sounds kind of morbid, but I'm going to die not getting this, but I'm going to keep trying this. I don't get how people do this. It's like something turns And they just, ugh, I don't even get it. Anyway, thank you, Lakeisha. You're so sweet. Okay, so I've made my statement. I think it's a human one. Nothing to do with politics. And I know that's actually not true, but maybe I'm talking ideally, maybe. But Trump's changed all that when he ran and won on a campaign centered around further marginalizing pretty much every single person in a historically marginalized group in our nation. So I watched the 2016 election and I saw white people, and this is I do a rant before we start. I saw white people betraying their fellow humans by voting in a man who promised and swore and vowed to further marginalize and do horrible things, take away their civil and human rights to our citizens. And it's for Trump's empty, baloney, lying promises for an extra buck or two. Pathetic. Anyone who wanted to could have easily Googled Trump's name, like I did, and found, I'm not special. I Googled him, like, who is this guy? He seems like a real freak. Okay, I knew he was like a talk show dude, but I didn't, and a mean one, but I didn't know who he was because I don't follow pop culture. But Googled him, you would have seen the Central Park Five. You would have seen what a racist little piece of what he is. And people didn't do it or did and just didn't care. Because in my opinion, this is my rant, so I can just blab it and I will be quiet soon. They don't care. Trump had them at racist. The minute they confirmed he was an overt white supremacist, nothing else mattered. And I like to give credit where credit's due. I thought Trump would be racist, bigoted, inhumane. I thought he'd be a monster. But that man has outdone himself. He is much worse. And I was like the soothsayer of doom. I was like, it's over. I was, Stevie, thank you for being here. Yay. I was a mess. And it's not a compliment. I'm not trying to be nice. He's a very evil genius. And it's not genius in the classic sense. It's genius in that he knows how to get people to follow his cruel, sick ways. It's pretty much terrifying. Early on, I heard rumors about politicians wanted to implement the 25th Amendment, but after a little research, I realized that that's kind of about succession, and its main purpose was not really anything to do with booting someone out per se. And even if they used the fourth section of the 25th Amendment, it could be used, to remove a sitting president, but it never has. And it would require Vice President Pence and a majority of the U.S. federal executive department heads to vote him out. Basically the Klan would have to, I'm sorry, I call them that. I hope it's not like offensive to anyone, but if it is, it's just, because that's who they are. Sorry. But that's just what I think. And they're not going to vote out their master, whatever he is, the grand poobah of, Thomas, it's going to take years to repair the damage that 45 has done. Great point. I'm going to take some questions because people are in comments. But I thought Trump was going to get impeached. Maybe. No, Nancy Pelosi took care of that, as well as others. I thought he'd be brought up on charges like a lot of us did. But apparently he's not guilty, but he's not innocent. And God knows what the Mueller report's going to show, and if we can get the damn thing unredacted. It's ridiculous. I realize there is a chance that we will see the full report, but I'm not really holding my breath on that. I realize there's a chance we might see taxes from Trump, but I realize there's a chance we might see headway from the lawsuit still going on in New York. And to be fair, there's a chance that aliens might land in D.C. and take Trump aboard their ship and take him away forever. Because that's about the same chance I think any of this is going down. I'm just saying. So, yeah. Tonight, I'm thinking about the American people, and we cannot let this man have a second term. I can't help but feel like some of us Americans have just let our fellow Americans down. And I will take some questions, and then I have a little more rant. upset about and ranting today. So please excuse me. Let me see. Anna, thanks, Vaughn. Yes, the guilt is killing me. Anastasia. This is nothing new for Black people. All he did was turn the light on, and now we can all see see all the roaches now. Yeah, and abso-stinking-lutely. Yep. And I might have skipped. I think I might have skipped you. Yeah, and basically, in a way, he did us a favor, I guess. No favor I really wanted, but for my friends and people I love and people I don't know, who I consider my brothers and sisters. And I'm glad it's out now, but it's really ugly. And we have had pretty much zero repentance or even admitting what we've done. Most people don't even know about our real racial history. I mean, the white elites love it that way. It's very purposeful. Let me read. Keep going. Okay. Michael, I believe I've passed the age of consciousness and righteous rage. I found that just surviving was a noble fight. I once believed in the cause too, and I had my pointless point of view. I know, Michael. I know. This is really, it's very, very hard to not, I mean, heck, I'm a freaking white person and I think this, to not go, you know what, I think we're kind of doomed. I just can't go there. Hope for me is the strongest emotion. Now, maybe at some point I'll think other emotions are stronger, but at this point, hope for me is the strongest emotion I have. And if I have a grain of sand of hope, I'm never going to stop talking about this. And I'm just one person, but you know what? Let's say somebody learns something from me and then they can tell someone, and just, you know, the old commercial about tell two friends and so on and so on. Maybe you guys aren't that old, but it's like, white folks, no offense, we did this. It's called being human. Take some racial responsibility. It's not out of guilt. It's called being human. I mean, anyway, I am ranting again. Let me see. Gary. Trump. Thank you, Michael, for your comments. I absolutely get you. Trump just showed us how nasty Big Trump America is. At least we know who they are. And I spent enough time in New York City to know how evil he is. Gary, every person that I talk to who has lived in New York City, they have nothing to say about him that's nice. I mean, it's like they know. When I first read the Central Park Five, I was like, are you kidding me? What a sicko. Like, I just couldn't believe it. So I have not met one person. Maybe I don't surround myself around people like that. But I'm pretty isolated, I could say. Yeah. Everybody who lives in New York City, they're like, oh, he's a jerk. He's horrible. Hello, I want to say Dizzle Sergeant. Greetings. Thank you for being here. Jump on in anytime. I'm a big blabbermouth, but I do shut up at some point. That's what you think. Okay. Yeah, wish. No, I'm kidding. Thomas. Oops. Thomas. Wrong Thomas. I'm skipping things left and right. Excuse me. Thomas. It's going to take, yeah, okay, I read yours. I saw yours. Your name just automatically, because I just adore you. Yeah, I don't know how long it's going to take, but I just hope that, no, I won't go on and on. It's awful. Groovy frequency. Trump is a result of white lash against Obama's presidency. So do you blame the election of Trump on him, or do we blame the people who voted for him? I blame the people who voted for him. I blame the people. But it's so easy to kind of like put it on him. And I appreciate that reminder, because he wouldn't be here if it weren't for the people. They came out of their little closets and they showed the world who they really are. And this nation has never, ever faced the truth of what we did. We refused to teach it in school. We have propaganda. Anyway, like I'm preaching to the choir because you guys know all this. Right. Thank you for bringing that up. Neil, I can teach myself to be nice, or I can teach myself to be hateful. I choose I choose what I believe is right, and that is to treat my fellow man as I want to be treated. Hate is what America is today. Neil, absolutely. And hi, Neil. Yay. I'm happy to see you. I didn't get to say hi to you, really. Yeah, it's a choice. Give me a break. And there's no excuse. Like, people are like, oh, white people are like raised with all this. There's a certain point in one's life where you say, my mommy and daddy raised me this way, but now I'm a thinking human being. I can feel and I can think, and I'm going to do what's right. And there is no excuse. We are in the day and age where you can Google things, you can look up things, you can find out what you want to know. So, and still, we have the statistic, 3 out of every 4 white adults in America do not have one single close friend who isn't white. So how in the world would they know what's going on, even remotely? It's just, and it's kept that way on purpose. Great point, Neil. Yep, it's a choice. I used to be all innocent and like, oh, maybe they just don't. Those days are gone. So, Mr. F.S. Black. Last week here in California, a woman disgustingly profiled a Spanish-speaking city worker by calling the police on because she looked illegal. Wow. It's like, in California, seriously? That's pathetic. And unfortunately, and I'm not just, holding just women, but women, okay, of all people, seriously, most women know what it feels like to be made to be less than with sexism and whatnot. Yet they just don't get it. And that is terrifying. You hope, oh, Vaughn, you hope that aliens take Trump away. I know, me too. I mean, I don't want them to do anything bad to him. I really don't. I really don't. I just want him out of everyone's life. I just want him gone, bye, leave, never come back. You're a horrible man. But yeah, the whole alien thing, that would be amazing. Unfortunately, I was kind of kidding, but kind of kidding. Not really. Good one. I watched that, Mr. F. Crazy. Yep. There's so many things I wish I could watch. Jamie, hello. Trump's being racist in the United Nations and putting a humanitarian position, and not putting one. And yep. Also, Trump is talking bad about the Muslim senator. Yep. But he says he doesn't know who the KKK white supremacists are. Oh, the poor guy is so confused. You guys, he has, no comment. Absolutely, Jamie. It's really, at this point, I don't know what to say. He just has memory problems, and he just has so many issues and so many, the poor guy, I not believe it's literally, when he's lying, it's when he opens his mouth. And I don't know why he does it. It's terrible. I know why he does it, but I just don't know how he lives with himself. But apparently he does pretty well living with himself. So thank you, Jamie. Thanks for the comments. And thank you for the articles you've been sending me. They've been really good. Neil, the Democrats have to quit fighting with each other or Trump will be in for another 4 years. Absolutely. You want to get into some of this stuff? It's exactly what I address. Anton, the presidency is not one person. It's a group, a cabinet of presidents. It's just the bobblehead. It's head for oneers that really run this country. Yep. The wealthiest people are invested in the racism, capitalism and racism, as we often talk about, has this strange to me at least, symbiotic, weird relationship. I don't get it, but it is helping keep the wealthiest people wealthy. And the divide is off the charts. So I'm scared for our nation. I'm just going to be very real about that. Lakeisha, white people have been lied to for 464 years. And you know what? In every other area that we're lied to in, we try to figure it out. Except this one. I get that. But there comes a point. I'm not buying it anymore. I'm not. Your mother, your father, your, crazy Uncle Joe, sorry if anyone's named Joe, comes on and, is being racist and this and that. I don't care. There's a whole world available. Nobody has to live in a little bubble. You can think for yourself. You get to a certain age, you say, you know what? It's wrong. So anyway, that's just mine. But yeah, we've been lied to, and nobody is trying to make up for it, talk about it. Gary, it's more likely that our former allies will take him out with a drone while he's golfing. He's a threat to world peace since he inspires terrorism, like in New Zealand. And he is very, very much, a great point. He's very much connected to terrorism. He's an inspiration. And although he can deny all he wants, what he doesn't obviously get or want to get is that it doesn't matter what you say. He is the de facto modern leader of the KKK or the white supremacists, because he is inspiring sick people to do sick things. And I think he knows it. He knows it. He knows what he's doing. It's all just a game to him or something. But the Emancipation Proclamation and the Civil Rights Act were attempts to face the truth. Yep, they were. But Michael, I mean, if you look at how those were put in and how hard it was, what my kids and what I read about in my books, it was a big party. Woohoo! We're all so excited about giving everyone the rights, and oh, this is so cool. They don't tell about all the details and the truth about these. It was a struggle. It wasn't, yay, let's do this. I mean, it was ugly, and nobody gets the truth. But I totally get what you mean. But hopefully you get what I'm saying too. Oh, Thomas, I would have voted against him if I hadn't already lost my voting rights for life. And I know, and you know what, Thomas? That makes me so angry that happens to people, because it's so wrong. Something in your life that you do shouldn't define the rest of your life. I mean, anyway, Kenny, hi, thank you so much for being here. I'm so jazzed to see so many people that don't usually get to come. That is awesome. Kenny is such a wonderful, supportive friend. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you. The other day, Kenny went out on a limb for me, and just, there were some people, some white folks that really, really needed educating. And I was kind of needing a little backup because they were so mad at me. They weren't going to, there was no way. They were so angry with me. And Kenny just jumped in there and saved the day. I was thrilled. Thank you so much. Stevie, Kimberly. That's so funny. Kimberly and Dixon. Dixon's my sweet friend. You are so nice. Gosh, he would be actually really good. I'm not so political. Michael, I want something bad done to Trump. It's called justice. Rope aspires. The French Revolution and the guillotine comes to mind. Do you really want a knock at your door, Michael? No. I'm not reading that. I'm not reading that. I understand. Let's just say, I don't condone it, but I do understand what turns Little Miss Hand into Little Miss Fist. Okay, I get it. But that's all I'll say. Sorry, it's a goofy thing, but Mr. F.S. Black, as much as I'd like to see Trump get on a plane and just F off, oh, no wonder you got nabbed by, I'm like, what? Like Nixon did, I just know someone just as bad or worse will take his place. Yeah, I feel kind of doom and gloom like that too. What do you guys think? A little bit. We might be too late. Maybe we're too late. I don't know. God, it's unbelievable. Gary, hello. Thank you for being here. Jump in and say what you want to say, and I will try my very best to get to everybody. Mentoring 42. Loblaw is $1 billion. Oh, Loblaw is $1 billion company that doesn't pay fair wages to their employees in Canada, but Trudeau gave them $12 million subsidy in order for them to install more energy efficient fridges. Interesting. Tell us more if you know more about that. Yeah, I've heard a lot about, I mean, part of the problem is Trump's lowered the bar till, I mean, it's not there anymore. So it's hard to compare, but we have a lot of issues. Robert, Jane Elliott said, to white people, exactly. You know what, Robert? I put that in 5 of my videos, and I think I know what you're going to say. How would you like to be treated the way we treat Black people in America? I'm just guessing that's what you're saying here. And you know what? It's funny. Nobody ever raises their hand because people white folks but they don't want to, for the most part, acknowledge the truth. I hate to say it, but it's true. And in her seminar, she'll have a seminar for 300 people, and she'll say, raise your hand if you'd like to be treated the way we treat Black people in America. And obviously nobody's going to raise their hand. So they can't deny, oh, I don't know. Because that's the thing is, what? 1964, Civil Rights Act. I mean, oh, Obama was president. I have a Black friend. We've all heard these cliche, just obnoxious, classic cliche denials of racism in America. And then there's always the people who I dealt with today and yesterday and the day before, that the white folks, because that's who I deal with, who say, oh, I'm not like that. And I'm saying, oh, well, it's a system. It's not about you. And then guess what they say? How could you say that about me? And I say, it's actually a system. It's not really about you. And then guess what? Okay, I won't go on. It's like Groundhog's Day. And yeah, like I say, I don't know you. Why would I say something about, why would this be about? Anyway, I'll shut up. Keep reading. But I loved Jane Elliott. When I was 18, I learned about her and changed my life because I didn't know there was other people. I was this sheltered little thing, but she changed my life. Michael, I was trying to use your comment. I don't want anything bad done to Trump. Oh, I knew what you were. I know what you were saying. I knew exactly what you're saying. I was just giving you a bad time. Yes, I know. And you know what? I don't blame people if they want, revenge. I know a lot of people. I just want him away, but no one else I know says that. Everyone's like, ah, but I understand. I hope I didn't put you on the spot, Michael, about that, but I knew what you meant. Kenny, Trump is Trump, but it's all up to you and I and other white people to stand and speak out against white supremacy. It's our duty. It's our mission. If we don't, we are the problem. Kenny, you said it all. White people did this, and it's not about guilt. It's just about being human. We need to help, not lead, not be in charge. Support. Why wouldn't we? I don't get it. Hey, Pat. Thanks for being here. We're all waiting for kitchen politics to show up. I'm going to message him. I told him we were going. Vernon, hello. Just watched PBS documentary on Reconstruction, making the case that as bad as Trump is, we've had worse like Andrew. Interesting. That somebody else was saying something earlier about that. Actually, I think. And interesting. In my lifetime, my generation, I've never seen anyone this just off the rocker. I know it swings back, and I get that, but scary stuff. Lakeisha, white folks guilty by associating themselves as white folks guilty by associating themselves as white supremacists. Well, yeah. Michael, I'll take you on this. I know what you're saying. Michael says, it's not revenge. Tyrants and dictators are executed. It's called justice. Revolution is violent. And I absolutely get that. I'm in denial. Let me stay in my world of peace and hippies and yeah. You don't have to stop. You're funny, Michael. It's totally fine. I'll deal with you off when the live show's done. I'm just kidding. Neil, Trump is setting us up for failure in World War III. Michael, what happened to the topic on the fall of Rome? Yes. I'm getting to it. Just people like to talk and everything. Yes, it is coming. And I know, Michael, you probably have to go to bed very soon. I want him in on this topic because Michael knows, as many of my friends do, knows a lot. Fall of Rome. Uh-oh, Vaughn, yes. Pat, we can't expect to do bad and get good out of it. It just doesn't work like that. Mm-hmm. So on that, thank you for getting me back on track. And I will go on. I have a bit of a rant. I'm going to try to get it all out, and then you guys are up. So I can't help but feel like some Americans just never read as a child, or I don't know. I don't think people realize that when our nation's in trouble, we need to come together. You're okay, Michael. God, okay. We need to come together, and every voice counts. And I'm absolutely serious. I know it sounds so cliche, like, oh, everyone's voice counts. Do you guys remember Horton Hears a Who, like a kid's book? Let me refresh you. Don't hate me for it. Whoville was a tiny, bustling little town located on top of a small clover, like a flowery thing. Horton the elephant's hearing was really good, I guess because maybe he had big ears. I'm not sure how that works. He could hear things. He knew there was an entire civilization on top of that clover. But the rest of the jungle animals thought he was crazy. And so they decided they're going to put an end to this, and they snatched that clover, and they were going to destroy it to stop him. Because he got it in a last-ditch effort to try to save their planet, their speck on a flower, from being wiped out. The mayor implored the entire town to start making as much noise as they possibly could, but it wasn't enough because they were like microscopic little, microscopic dudes. It's just as their little world was about to get boiled in a pot of hazelnut oil. Sorry, I know this one. And yeah, nice kid's book, huh? They were going to boil him. I'm just saying. The mayor, he said, just as he thought he was getting nowhere and almost about to give up in despair, he suddenly burst through a door, and that mayor discovered a shirker quite hidden away in the Fairfax apartment 12J. A very small shirker named Jojo was standing there, not making a sound, just standing and bouncing a yo-yo, not making a sound, not making a yip, not a chirp, not a peep. And the mayor rushed inside and grabbed the little twerp and said, climbed up to the Eiffelberg Tower and said, "This," cried the mayor, "is your town's finest, your town's darkest hour. It's a time for all who's who have blood that is red to come to the aid of our country," he said. "And we've got to make noise in bigger amounts. So open your mouth, lad. Every voice counts." And as he climbed and he spoke, he got to the top. The lad cleared his throat and shouted out, "Yop." And I like rhymes, but and that little yop put it over. Just one little kid on a little speck, on a little clover. You can laugh if you want, but I honestly and truly believe with all my heart that that story is a lesson. We have white folks all over the place that think being nice to everybody is going to keep their freedom. And guess what? I think we're running out of chances. So there's only so many pivotal moments left in history. And we need a candidate who can beat Trump. We need all the people, all the white folks. We need everybody, but white folks, we did this. We need all of them in our nation to make sure that that man does not get to stay. And I don't care if it's your second choice, third choice, fourth choice, whoever gets the nomination. So my question tonight, like Michael brought up, is are we following basically the fall of Rome? And it's a simple question, but it's a very complex one as well. Are we on the same path as the Roman Empire? Do we think that freedom in America is just a given because our generation maybe doesn't remember all the struggles because maybe we were too little, or I don't know, but I'll tell you, and jump right in and say what you want, because, and the funniest part of me quoting Seuss when I started to read that, it was, as it turned out, he was outed as a total racist. So it's a little bit weird that I'm quoting him. I liked that book. I liked a couple of other books, but as it turns out, on a personal level, he was a total racist. So, I mean, so yeah, and I actually know that. And I was kind of thinking maybe I don't read his book, but then I was like, you know what? I'm going to take what I can and make good of it, because taking something that he did as a racist person and using it to stop racism is, I just balanced it and I said, I'm going to do it. I hope I didn't hurt anyone by that. But so we might think freedom is free. If you were a Roman citizen in 200 BC, you would probably have thought Rome was going to last forever as well. Whereas it's normal for a republic, a democratic republic, to swing back and forth and, from generation to generation, from like open-mindedness to very narrow-mindedness, not wanting to mention, according to historians, we might have swung a little too far. And a lot of people believe, historians who are really, really knowledgeable believe that we might be at the beginning stages of the fall of America. And this presidency has been unprecedented and extremes. People watching our fellow humans have their civil and human rights taken away, and they just watch. Doesn't affect me any. And that is a terrifying thing. Experts believe there are parallels, and I'm curious to know what you guys think. So I want to start by taking a look at some of the parallels. And our republic has become unstable, and many people believe it's partially due to us turning into this oligarchy, this dominated by rich, powerful elites that then, staying a balanced representative democracy. Greed is killing us, in my opinion. Before I go into the points and get what you guys want to say, I want to catch up here because I think a lot of people have said stuff. Let me see. And thank you, Michael, for getting me on track. Groovy frequency. The fall of Rome. Nero fit while Rome burned, America's fall while Trump golfs. Ooh, analogy. Hit home. Yep, good one. I mean, sad, but yeah. Anastasia. Even though Dr. Seuss has proven racist, all his books had a social commentary message. Oh, yeah, right. And it's kind of hard because, whereas I hate, you got what I said. Thanks. I'm glad you understand. Mentoring 42. Hypocrite Trudeau gave 12 million corporate welfare for Loblaws was under the guise of helping the environment, but he paid billions for the oil pipeline that is solely owned by Trans-Canadian Corporation. Wow. Mentoring 42, tell us more, because a lot of people, it's really easy to have a bad guy and a good guy. And a lot of Americans look at Trudeau as, oh my God, he's perfect. A lot of women think he's like really cute. I mean, I don't think that's what they're talking about, but I'm just going there. I've heard people talking, which has nothing to do with anything. But yeah, I don't get it. But please give us your opinion. Tell us what you think, and I will absolutely read it. Neil, there's no doubt we are on the same path as the Roman Empire. Take a look at how fast we're falling and how fast things have started repeating themselves. Yeah. Robert. Yes, we are a modern day Rome, and in fact, our government is just like ancient Rome with the senator house and all the. America will fall just like Rome. It's already started. And if you've read even a teeny bit about Rome, supposedly our founding fathers really kind of were following. They used a lot of that in what they did. So I don't think it's a coincidence. I think it's a pattern of democratic republics and things like that. I know we have some experts out there who are going to tell me their opinions. Michael, powerful rich elites while the plebeians were starving is a parallel. Caesar's response was give them bread and circuses. And he had the Colosseum built. We have football, reality TV, and Facebook. Point well taken. That's why you need to get on here on this live show and tell people what's going on. Michael is an incredibly brilliant, everything historian. He just gets it, and I would love for him to come on here. So I'm going to name a couple things. There's a ton of parallels. It's still controversial. A lot of scholars don't agree, or the real college boys Drew. Hi, thank you for being here. I'm happy to have you. Jump right in. We're talking about the fall of Rome and pretty much the fall of America. our republic has become unstable. And because I don't know what you guys think about the oligarchy thing. I think we've been doing that for quite some time. Pat, America will fall. The influence of money and all that, and the rich and powerful getting their way, and Citizens United, the end of the fairness doctrine. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. So just, I mean, to name a few, because there's like a zillion. One similarity between Rome and America is the corrupting influence of the money used for private interests to sway politicians. We call it bribes when we look at other countries, but when we do it, we're called lobbyists, or, you know, it's disgusting. It's corruption. And America loves to be holier than thou. We just love it. And, you know, it's just lobbying. No, it's bribing. Let's be real. I can't stand the fake stuff. It's bribery. And we have chosen greed over humans, because that's what we do. For the U.S., we have politicians taking PAC money, federal lobbyists, super PACs, corporate donors, private donors. Michael, before the empire, Rome was a republic. It was Caesar who marched his army on Rome and declared himself Caesar. Caesar is a title. His name was Gaius Julius. I told you Michael knew lots of stuff. He ended the republic and started the dictatorship. Trump is no Caesar. Caesar was legitimately a great man. And I am not saying he was, but you know what? He's a scary dude. Yep, he's a scary dude. Great points. Thank you. That's why I had to make sure you were still up for this, because I really want to. Oh, they won't let you. Okay. But Trump, let me see. Trudeau, this is Mentoring 42. Trudeau, Macron have the same values as Trump. However, they are not brash and stupid. Yep. I read all opinions. I just don't know about Trudeau as much. Michael, but Trump is the beginning of our dictatorship. The rule of law is effectively suspended for the rich. They live consequence-free lives, as did the patricians of Rome. Thank you, Michael. The stupid thing you won't let me paste as fast as I can type, but this is not the place for. Yeah, I know, it's frustrating. You can do it. I appreciate your input, because you are absolutely a historian among many other great things. Anton, Kim, it was president. If you were president, name things you would do to turn this country around. On the spot. The first, you know what I do. I wouldn't be able no one ever elect me for president, because immediately I would put if I could be president. I believe that systemic racism, bigotry, and inequality are the number one problems we have. The idea that some people or groups of people are considered less important than others is the root of every problem we have. And I truly believe that if I'm put on the spot now, I haven't really ever thought of that, because God knows no one's going to elect me. But I would say systemic racism, number one. Absolutely number one. It has to be dismantled. Education. I'd force it in. If I could do anything, I'd actually follow our system of checks and balances. I wouldn't just force my will, but I would do my very, very best to get I lied. I'd force my will. You know I would. Education, I think, is really important. And a comprehensive program, preschool through K for all public schools, on anti-racism, anti-bigotry. You got me on a roll here. And the truth about our real history, not guilt, history, real history, nothing to do with guilt. Teaching us how to choose humans over greed and shift our culture, and a whole bunch more. And I'll tell you another time, because I don't want to go on, and I will. But thank you for that question. Systemic racism, and which falls into areas of reparations, and just there's tons. I could go on, and I might, but thank you for asking that. I could go on and on. Let me see. Let me find my space here. Great question. Mr. F.S. Black, a doctor in South Africa has discovered a way to cure deafness with his first. Yes, I saw that. He is a doctor who he does the first middle ear transplant. I saw it. I was like, that's awesome. I was thrilled. And I read an article. I might have. Okay, Michael, stop it. You are naughty. I saw that. I was thrilled. I have worked as a special ed teacher, I worked in many classrooms with deaf and hard of hearing, and talk about isolation. Lot of parents they don't learn sign language, and these guys, these little kids and young adults, they get isolated, very isolated. I mean, you could see that probably. So it's absolutely a miracle, and I read that, I was thrilled, just thrilled. Thanks for pointing that out. It's awesome. Yep, I completely slipped my mind because I read it a while ago, like a couple of days or something. It seems like a couple of years, but it was a couple of days. Michael, what are you singing, Michael? Michael. Okay, Michael. Okay, I'm not going to read that. No, I'm not. Okay, very cute. Michael is singing, and he wants us all to know it. Very funny. Dwayne, hello. Welcome. I'm happy you're here. Thank you for being here. Just jumping. We're talking about the fall of Rome. It's kind of sad, but Pat, there's nothing great about someone who kills people. Yep. Anton, good answer. Oh, thanks. I will go on and on. I have so many ideas, obviously, because this matters. Thank you. You don't want me to go on and on. I will. Thanks. Okay. Let's get into some similarities. The private interest swaying politicians. It's disgusting. And we do it. An example, I said all the PAC money and just all that federal lobby. I mean, just the money. It's corrupt. It's unbelievable. For example, our NRA and the fact that 68% or more of Americans across the board, they want common sense gun laws. This isn't an America for the people. 68%? That's a lot. Common sense. We're not a government for the people, of the people. When that many. Oh, bye, Mentoring 42. I hope you feel better. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. I'm sorry you're hurt, but I'm thrilled that you came. Thank you so much. And have a good night. Sorry you're hurt. Another similarity, Rome, the social and economic inequality, where citizens just losing faith in the people who are supposed to be representing them. What do you guys think? I'd say we got that going here pretty bad. It's not good. We have the largest gap. When 20 years ago, I watched the stats, and in 20 years, the gap is huge between basically the haves and the have-nots. And every time, like Michelle Alexander's book, The New Jim Crow, every single time, white folks start catching on that we have a similar plight to Black people, African American people, people of color, Hebrew people, Indigenous people, and that being racist is absolutely against our own best interest. Somebody throws out more propaganda and BS. They're not going to teach us how inner city poverty was created by us. They're not going to talk about redlining. They're not going to talk about sundown towns. They're not going to tell people the truth about Black codes and how we had 88 years of re-enslavement, essentially. I mean, I could go on and on. So polls indicate in America that we have very little trust in the government. I mean, what are you going to do? Trump, the man lies like every time he opens his mouth. It's insane. Another one, as with Rome, our politicians are kind of more interested in partisanship than representing the long-term interest of our nation and its stability. And that is absolutely, it's as Trump is obviously doing it. It's all about him. It's all about him. So I don't know. And what do you guys think? I don't know if our Constitution was really written with the idea that we'd have a narcissistic, like, person who was all about greed and himself. So I don't know. Oh, Pat says you need to detoxify yourself, mentoring 42. Yeah, so I don't know if, I guess we're going to find out. But anyway, the spirit, this all just sounds so familiar. The spirit of the Constitution, I want to talk about for a second. And guys, jump in on anything that you have to say. The spirit of the Constitution is supposed to be compromise, consensus. It's supposed to be a pillar for a democratic republic. But the integrity of the system is what holds a democracy together. And under Trump, the man is trying to shatter the spirit of every law he finds. It's really kind of unbelievable. Neil, what do you think about the Sharon Trump argument about him sending the immigrants to LA, and Cher says they can't take care of their own homeless? I have not read the Cher one, but I do know he wants to. Later on, we'll get to it, and we're going to talk about, hopefully, if people are into it, we'll talk about dumping people who are asylum seekers, dumping them into sanctuary cities. It's like pretty nuts. But yeah, I don't know much about that. Neil, if you want to jump on and share, I did not know. Again, I kind of don't follow pop culture, even though that is obviously social issues. But jump in and tell us more. I want to hear it, Neil. Thanks. Michael, the rich have recreated the aristocracy. It always happens. It happened in the 1870s with robber barons. It happened during the Roaring '20s and led to the Great Depression. In Rome, the farms surrounding the capital and the provinces began to fail, and there was famine. The rich had food and the poor didn't. Inequality is a parallel. Michael, oh my God, Michael, you're the best. After Caesar, citizens no longer had the same amount of representation in the Roman Senate. With our rich buying politicians and paying for them to get elected, we no longer have representation. Absolutely. They're not representing us. They're being bought off. And it's absolutely. And now with the failure of the Justice Department, oh yeah, and the rule of law, foundational, we are barely one step from dictatorship, if not already there. Absolutely. The point is, there is no countervailing power standing against the president. The same with the Roman Caesars. And Michael and I were just discussing that earlier. He is, and I have a little bit on the overreach and whatnot. There is nobody stopping that man. Okay? There's no one stopping that man. He needs to be stopped. He needs to have a check and a balance, and he's circumventing. He's using the courts because they're purposely meant to be slow, and they're purposely meant to be kind of thought-provoking and bringing people to the table. He criticizes and attacks his own members of his government as treasonous and openly admiring, complimenting dictators and authoritarian rule. Like he's jealous of them. I don't have the answers, Michael. I was hoping you did, because that's why you get the big bucks, right? I was hoping you had the answers, but I'm just kidding. Let me see where, anesthesia. Well, it's illegal and he knows it, and that's why he's fired Blondie, because she was evil and she wasn't, who could, Anastasia, absolutely. He's a monster, in my very opinionated, privileged opinion. Michael, who can stop Trump? What power can stop Trump? Checks and balances have already failed. You're right. No pressure. Michael, you were hilarious. Oh my God. Come to the Titanic with me. I hear they have a really great band. I won't do it. Thank you. Thank you for your expertise, Michael. This is definitely, I wanted you here to educate. And I know a lot of a lot of people, my friends are watching, are really educated. But I know this is an area that you're very, very, very good with. So I appreciate it. But yeah, I don't know. I've heard we're at the beginning. Maybe I've heard it's too late. I know one thing for sure: they aren't going out without a fight. My lady is over kind. I am but a mere commoner to like, thank you. No, but I really do appreciate you. Thank you. You're awesome. And I just know they're not going down without a fight. The wealthiest people in their little oligarchy and their power, wealth, and prestige, if you will, they're not going down without a fight. I don't want it. It's scary. But greed, dang, like I need to tell people about greed. These people, they have it bad. They have it bad. They've chosen people to be abused so they can be wealthy. It's scary. Let me see. Yeah, Trump pursues his own greedy interest, and everything goes to the ultra wealthy. In Rome, people's needs weren't being addressed for decades, and tension was heightened. And guess what happened? Violence. Yep. But Michael, you read my mind. Yep. That was my next point. Violence. When people have nothing left to lose. Violence. I'm going to pretend I said that first. But let me see. A fight means violence. The left needs to wake up to history. Lakeisha, they will. I know this because without the Democratic vote, that is the end of white privilege. I know this because without the Democratic vote, that is the end of what. Explain what you mean, Lakeisha. I'm not quite 100% understanding. I'm so sorry, and I don't want to misrepresent you. Lakeisha, facts are Trump is a symptom, but the one that is allowing this to happen, and both sides should be dragged out into the streets like the French Revolution. The Tale of Two Cities exhibit. Yeah, and a lot of times I talk about Trump, but in my heart of hearts, I absolutely know that he's just a leader that they like to look at. I don't think he's a leader, but for them, he's in the spotlight. This has been there all along, and we all know that. And he helped to kind of bring it all together and show, you know what, being disgusting, overtly racist is so cool. And he got all the people to come together, and now the whole world thinks they have a leader for white supremacy, and they kind of do. So, but it was there all along. It was all hidden in the closet. Now it's not so much, but really sad. But Trump is bringing the true racist supremacists out. Racism has spiked so much since he's gotten into office. Oh my goodness! If you were at last week's show, and I'll read that statistic again. Anybody, anywhere he has a rally, just spikes off the charts. Of course, Neil. She made her thoughts on Trump clear as if it wasn't. In a follow-up post, she called him an ignorant thug with a lizard brain who guarantees his survival above all else. It kind of makes sense. Thanks, Neil. Yeah, I think in my very, very, very privileged opinion, I think that the people who have audiences, I mean really, really big audiences in America and all over the world, they need to step up to the plate. Because I know a lot of people are speaking out, but I think there's not enough. And I think it's going to be a terrible, terrible mistake. If you have an audience, then open your mouth, because every voice counts. And I mean that. And I'm not a great speaker, but you know what? It's not about me. So if I could do it, anyone can do it. Okay? it's amazing how many famous people there are who have not said a peep. There's no neutral in this. We all know it now. There's no neutral. Without Democrats, the Republicans will never, Republicans will never be in power again. In order to maintain white supremacy, we need to have black and brown Democratic Party to agree with. Okay? Michael, again. When enough suburban parents are watching their kids eating from dumpsters, eating from the scraplings from the tables of the rich. Yeah, but it'll be too late then. But yeah, see, here's the thing. Like Martin Niemöller, I bring him up every time, maybe every other time. Okay, he was a very educated man. He was a pastor in Germany when Hitler was doing his thing, and he felt very, very guilty. In 3 parts. Okay, Michael. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Okay. But I'm not Jewish. I'm not black. I'm not a unionist. And then it's too late. He's the person who coined the what he used to talk to his students, his university students. First, they came for the unionists, but I wasn't a unionist, so I didn't speak out. Next, they came for, and pretty soon, there was no one left to speak up for anybody, and they came for him. And he actually did prison big time. He was one of Hitler's special prisoners. Let me see here. I will go back to make sure I got 1, 2, 3. Michael. Okay, Michael. His first part. When enough suburban parents are watching their kids eating from dumpsters, eating the scraplings from the tables of the rich, when enough husbands are watching their wives die from curable diseases that the rich get routinely treated, then maybe the American people will wake up to class consciousness, because that's the struggle, as it's always been throughout history. Yep. And that is, is there more? Commentary thingy in the butt. No, it's true. It's true. And you are concise and such a show off. Jeez Louise. Being concise is like not a word people use with me. But emotional maybe, but passionate, but not concise, unfortunately. But yes, nice showing off. But I appreciate it because it's for the people here. I have to say, you're right. What do you guys think? That, it's like, what is it about white folks that they don't realize? If you're next, I guess we're next. It's if something happens to our fellow humans, we're next. Why is that such a tough thing to get? Get it? Anastasia. Additionally, we have a rise in racism across the world in Philippines. Oh yeah, Saudi Arabia, everywhere. Yep. He's 2 shows ago we talked about the power that he seems to have and the connection of the white supremacists that are being radicalized, just like the pretend Muslims are being radicalized to do horrible, horrible things in the name of religion, or in the name of I was born with white skin and that's the best thing that ever happened to me. So I don't know. Sorry, I don't know what to say, but that's basically what it is, I guess. And it's terrifying. And the studies are showing there's an absolute connection. It's something about people. Really scary. So the whole violence thing is really scary. I talked today to a lady whose daughter works for a pharmaceutical company and said they have a cure for every type of cancer, but money is the reason we will never see these cures. I've heard that over and over again. I certainly hope, I hope there's a cure, but I hope that's not true. But I wouldn't put it past, because our culture is, I used to say it when people were voting for Trump, selling their souls for the chance at an extra penny. It's basically what it is. And obviously we know this is happening long before Trump, but he's really really emboldened people, and he's really brought it out. It's on the table. Thanks. Yeah, it makes sense. Michael, this is happening long before Trump. Trump is the match to the gasoline. Fascism, Nazism, authoritarianism has been on the rise for at least 30 years. Absolutely. I don't know what it is, but the cycle is, you think it's a cycle going back and forth, or, I mean, probably a lot of things. Thank you, Michael. Mr. F.S. Black. A black Army sergeant in Kentucky is facing felony charges from a road rage incident where she fired her weapon in self-defense from some angry woman who was chasing her down and yelling racial slurs. Unbelievable. If you have time, grab that. I would love to read that. The kind of individual incidences like this are just, oh my God, it's unbelievable. Lakeisha, this is why I say black people need to stop having kids because of racism. Why bring a black child into this godforsaken world? You allow your children to be statistic. Yeah. Michael, when Trump's gone, this won't end. No, it won't. In fact, nope. He's brought it out. He's the catalyst that helped reignite what was always here. But you know what? I always thought, and tell me what you guys think, and this is maybe my like wishful white woman thinking, I thought somehow, and this is what a lot of people in my generation thought, we were slowly headed in the right direction, because I thought we were, because I thought, this sounds morbid, but the older people were dying off, and maybe not as many people were continuing this cycle of hatred in teaching. And I just thought the generations that just can't take change, and they certainly, I don't go for this like, oh, that was then. There were abolitionists way back then. I do not buy it that human evolution has not gone that fast. That back then they were just, it was just because everyone was doing it. No, I'm not buying it. It was evil as it is now, and evil as it was then. And people knew, and they know. Knew exactly what they were doing, and it was all about greed. Thank you, Michael. I'm not going to sing that. I sang that last time, and I'm not going to do it. But yeah, it's true. So it's up to the people. And unfortunately, I have absolutely no doubt that we're going to allow this to happen. A couple of years back, I just remember it was my point of like, my God, we're doomed. And I was in a museum with my little daughter, and it was a very snobby museum. And so of course anyone I can grab their ear, probably why I have no friends that aren't online. Whole other story. I was talking about racism and systemic racism and bigotry and all that stuff. And lo and behold, I was talking about Black Lives Matter, and a very, very blonde, very, very, like suburban-ish type woman said, "Oh, I heard they were a terrorist group." I was like, my eyes must have popped out of my head. It's like the propaganda is real. It is absolutely purposeful. Michael, stop trying to make me sing. Thank you. Mr. F.S. Black. Lakeisha Bridges, we can't stop because white supremacy want exactly that, to see our extinction. Yeah. Thank you, Michael. Very sweet. Yeah, I personally, I can't wait till the biggest majority of people are brown, tan, beige, indigenous, black. I can't wait, And white people in general are terrified. It's almost as if they think we're not nice to people who are in the minority groups. Gee whiz. Imagine that. It's just enraging. But yeah, it's not my place to say. But Lakeisha, I absolutely, is that who? Whoops, did I get the wrong? I lost my spot. Where am I? Where am I? Okay, location, Mr. F. Yeah, I'm not a Black person. I'm not an African American person that has to think that their children are going to be subjected to this. I have to think a lot of things, but it's not the same. It's not. I have my white privilege. It's not the same. So I don't really have it's not my place to go there. But yeah, I see both sides because it's terrifying. Anastasia, this is the same Army sergeant that said Black Lives Matter is a hate group that needs to be eradicated and blamed Black people for the ghettos and cop brutality. It's wrong what's happening to her, but she is finally, let me see, found out of her uniform didn't protect her from racism. Wow. I don't know the case, but wow. And she's a Black lady or brown or indigenous. She's not a white person. Dang. And we talked a lot last time about people who buy into it, who you just can't believe it. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely look that up. Let me see. Okay. Oh, let me see. Where am I? Lakeisha, racism is emotional child abuse. Scientific experiments on white children to condition them to hate Black people for greed. You know what? I think it's child abuse. Well, and on a whole bunch of levels, because you're setting up your child for being incredibly hateful and basically just, I don't know how people have that hate in them it's a long story. It's got to impact. It's got to have an impact on actually the child, and it's cruel and it's just wrong. Yeah, it's just really wrong. Pat, Bridges, I don't care. Oh, Bridges, I don't agree with that. You might bring a child forth who will change the world. So don't think that way. Yeah. And you know what? I know a lot of folks who didn't ever want to have kids, like tons. And I absolutely get it. And a lot of times it's for this reason. And it might be my arrogance, my privilege, I don't know, but if we can raise our kids to care, then maybe our kid will be that little Jojo on the little, the mayor carrying him up to, if you were listening earlier, Horton Hears a Who his final little yap put it over so that the jungle animals heard the noise and they didn't get boiled. Now, if you didn't hear this reference, you're probably thinking, she's cuckoo, which I might still be, but yeah, it could be the one to put it over. So, and I just, yep, I get it. Mr. F.S. Black, kids put more damage and abuse on our people. Generational abuse, passing of genes, and poverty, struggling, and suicides. The statistics are grim. They're grim. Leslie, hello. Thank you for being here. Yay. Anastasia, yes, ma'am, she's Black, and I have the receipts from here. Facebook. Oh, okay. Thanks. Wow. That's really bad. Michael, I'm going back to Rome parallels. Are Visigoths, Germanic tribes, and Mongols attacking us? Are Russia and China attacking us on all sides with information warfare? Yes, information warfare. You know how Trump and his little innocence, I don't know what's going on. Oh, I see you have more to say. Sorry to interrupt. There's no way to remember at the beginning. Oh, Russia, what are you talking? Russia had already interfered with 27 different nations' elections. So give me a break. What BS is that with Trump? Oh, Russia? What are you doing? And he knows that, and our FBI knows that, and he is a freaking liar. I mean, he's the real thing. Michael, with the information warfare, That's Russia's specialty propaganda. Saudi Arabia is our Egypt. Rome couldn't survive without wheat from Egypt. They were dependent on the despotic foreign powers. We are dependent on despotic foreign. Yeah, good points. Yep. Thank you, Michael. That's why you get the big bucks, or you do, for your information. Anastasia. Along with being invaded, Rome's information and structure was horrible as well. The water, the hygiene brought about by sickness as well. Pat, kids can change the world. And you know what? I think raising kids is one of the hardest things on the planet. If you can raise a kid who actually cares about their fellow human with all their heart, then I think you've done pretty damn well. It's a tough goal in this world, but I got to tell you, as an angry soccer mom, boy, have my ideas shifted. You know, I was this, I want my kids to be the smart, straight. No, I want my kids to be happy, incredibly good people. And I've done my job. Because that is like the next generation. They'll be there. And I'm not here to toot my own horn or my kids' horn. And yes, we have a lot of problems. But that is one thing I can say. My kids will never stand and do nothing while they see their fellow human being harmed and hurt or belittled or bullied. And that matters. And in a world of greed, it's just pure greed. I'm going to cry. You guys are going to slap me. Okay. Let me see. Do you guys want to talk about... my closing statement. I personally, and you know I have opinions, I will agree to disagree with almost anybody, but not when it comes to my fellow humans being abused. Nope. People used to say, give Trump a chance. I'm like, no thanks. Not happening. It's like, give the axe murderer a chance to kill. No, I won't. Absolutely not. And that's where I say there's no agreeing to disagree, because that's no way. We know about the 1%, and the wealthiest people make the laws to benefit themselves, and this nation is not of the people. And when a large majority of humans in America want universal health care, free college, common sense gun laws, and we don't have them, I mean a really big majority across the board. This isn't a government of the people. This is a government for the wealthy. Wealthy, 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 elite, and rich. Because these are human things. And they don't represent us anymore. And I can't help but agree with Michael. I think it might be too late to say it, but let me see. It's not Anastasia. It's not far-fetched. There's a lot of black people that hated MLK Jr. and thought he was a terrorist, and also hated the Black Panther Party. Look up Julia Clarice Brown. She was an informant for the FBI against the civil rights. Dang. Interesting. Yep. I know it's not that uncommon. It's just, I can't normalize any of this. I just can't believe that people don't. I'm indignant. Michael, I read an article about a botanist from Zimbabwe. He developed a peach tree with really big... Michael, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. Very funny. Okay. Okay, Michael. Anastasia. Michael's losing it. No, death will be too easy for you, Michael, dear. No death. No death. No death. No. Something better for you. You definitely got me, though. You little rat. Oh, my God. Thrown in the Zimbabwe. You're funny. Michael's in trouble. Anastasia, never forget, most slave insurrections were stopped because other slaves told on them that ran away. And Anastasia, absolutely. Somebody control that man. Anastasia, absolutely. And it's so, so sad that, like, I guess it's a human condition that you like want to be the special one, or they'll treat me special. It's so sad. It's so sad. Yeah, you're in trouble, Michael. Okay. Trump is just for the rich. Absolutely. And that people didn't realize that. Kind of sad. That they don't realize it now. That's just psychological. Listen to me. I'm a psychiatrist now. I gave myself a honorary PhD, or if I'm a doctor, I gave myself an honorary MD. Trump's overreach. I wanted to talk a little bit about that, if people can stay. Trump's overreach is out of control. I mean, like, seriously. And that is really scary. His entire presidency is kind of like ways to find how he can help himself and his other rich buddies that he must think he owes to become more powerful and wealthy. And also, this whole overreach thing, I'm going to do a little rant because I have some serious issues with euphemisms in politics. It's not helping. The term presidential or executive overreach, seriously, I'm sorry, but I think overreach is for when maybe Trump is reaching over to grab the last McDonald's hamburger. That is overreach. I think my distance can't take it. That's not overreach, what he's doing. Setting himself up to be the king is not overreach. Maybe overreach on steroids, but that's not overreach. I'm sorry. That's basically, he's destroying our democracy. And he's doing it because his little helpers are helping him. The people that just don't get it and they bow down to him like a cult. The Republicans who are wimps with no backbone to step up to the plate and say, I will not stand here and watch this man destroy our democracy and destroy our fellow humans. But nope. Thank you, Michael. Okay, you might be a little less in trouble. Very sweet. But nah, you're still in trouble. Okay. So yeah. The founders of our nation set the bar really, really high for a reason. You're still in trouble. Oh my God, you're happy about that. Jesus. Okay. No comment. This was purposeful. The goal was to have our elected, and like I need to tell you guys this, to have our elected representatives work together to have checks and balances. So no one part. This is like 5th grade. You could dig yourself out if you keep giving history. Keep telling us about history. But there's no one part supposed to be, you know, like this is like 4th grade history, I guess, or as much history as you're going to get with the whitewash stuff. But today we are really testing the limits. We are really testing the limits because these checks and balances aren't really holding. I mean, I think they're done with the hardcore partisan politics, the influence of this corporate greed, and Trump himself absolutely circumventing the spirit of every law there is. I just don't know if our Constitution and the founding fathers were really, this was meant, I don't know. Yes, Leslie, seriously, thank you. See, Les, yeah. Very funny. Michael, okay. Les calls it like it is. Okay. On April 10th, Trump claimed that he's the only person to be in charge of immigration. And he proudly said it. And he's planting seeds. There's a number of overreaches, my term I don't like, that, first of all, what do you guys think of these acting cabinet heads? Les, you are so cute. What do you guys think? I mean, he has more than any other president, supposedly. And according to our Constitution, the top jobs in federal government are supposed to be filled, but nominated by him, and the Senate needs to give it advice and consent. But that's not happening is really circumventing the checks and balances. And by having temporary heads of agencies and cabinets, he's essentially running the show. Too much executive power, and he absolutely does it on purpose. Trump's executive orders that target civil rights of humans, Anastasia, they've all but destroyed the agencies. Absolutely. Well, I mean, it's like, what would anyone think when you have the person in charge of like helping people to be like the most evil person, when the person in charge of education to basically be the most racist, like, oh, just horrific. I mean, it's unbelievable. He's found people to put in these positions that are it's like opposite day every day in Trump's world. The opposite of someone you'd ever want anywhere near these positions. I don't know how he does it. Great point, Anastasia. Michael, okay, I can respond to someone who said that the Roman infrastructure was bad, but it will take 4 comments. Roman infrastructure was a wonder of the ancient world. Okay, and it hurt your. I know the aqueducts. Yes, I studied that. I must have missed somebody who said that, but I studied that in when I was like a little kid. Some aqueducts are still running. The famous fountains of Rome are still fed from the same plumbing pipes. Yeah, I mean, that was unheard. I mean, it was like amazing at the time. Rome has had heated floors and trains with plumbing, interior running water, first in the world, but of course, for the rich. Or Michael. Okay. Anyway, enough. Trump's using his executive orders to target human rights. That's disgusting. And he's using his executive powers to bypass things that Congress is saying no to. And so it goes to the court. It slows it down so that by the time it actually comes out in court, it's too late. He's already made his move. Trump refuses to hand over documents to the House oversight committees for investigations. He loves court because it's a slow process. Anastasia, I wrote that, but our infrastructure will not last that long. But our infrastructure will not last that long. Right. And he says, yes. Okay, gotcha. Ours won't. No. Nope. Great points. Another example of Trump's overreach is that he essentially forced the chief of staff to give top secret clearance to his son-in-law against the wishes of the intelligence officials. I mean, it's like he wants to run his own show, and he's not even ashamed to say it. He denied any influence, but it's like he opened his mouth. It's not true. In fact, the Washington Post said the White House is refusing to provide information regarding alleged security clearance abuses to the Oversight Committee, because of course they're trying to delve into the House. Is just, my God, they must be so busy. Even the Republicans on Capitol Hill are raising, alarms about the White House resistance to the congressional demands, fearing that President Trump is bolstering the power of his office at the expense of Congress. And I have to say, I think, and I hate to say it, and maybe I'm jaded, but I think the Republicans, to be completely honest, they're just worried that if Trump doesn't win, that they'll set precedences. I don't think they give a crap about the bad things he's doing. That's just my take. But Michael, great empires fail. Many have failed. There are common features. We are now living through many of them. Very nice summary. Nice summary. Anastasia, his entire presidency is ambiguity and plausible deniability. Yeah, he is a true, disgusting con man. Con man is what he does. My God, the twists, the lies, the spins. It's like I'm dizzy just thinking about it. Like in the, again, and I focus a lot on him right now because he's kind of, it's kind of easy to focus on because he's just horrible and he doesn't care. But the truth of the matter is, the people who are backing him, the political, they're just as bad. They're disgusting. And the people who uphold their power are just, like everyone says, this is nothing new. It's just coming out. And he brought it out. Kitchen politics. Oh my gosh. We have been waiting for you. Kitchen politics is here. Bravo. Anastasia, he is just a mirror of what was already there. Great point. Yeah. He's, I don't get, enraged very much, but he's just so good at being evil. And I don't mean evil in the biblical sense. I just mean he's a bad guy. He's a very, very bad man. According to, and the people who, this, let me see here. According to Senator John Cornyn, a Texas Republican and member of the GOP leadership team, this is not a traditional presidency. Gee, you think? When asked about the White House circumventing Congress, says apparently the president now believes he doesn't need a lot of advisors because he wants to do it himself. Okay, how about just be real and say the man wants to be a dictator. That's his aim, and that's what he's doing. But it's crazy. Let me read some comments. Michael, a comment. Forget Trump for now. How do people of goodwill deal with racism? I will admit, Trump has provided the validation for racism, and he's ginned it up and allowed racism to be acceptable. Systemic racism aside, it resides in the hearts of people. How to address that? How I personally address it in my groups, because that's what I do every day online in my online communities, is through education. We've talked about it before. There are two ways that have been studied to help bring white folks along the continuum of anti-racism. And this works for everything. People who are, hateful and homophobic, people who are Islamophobic. It's all the same type things. And until everybody can get educated and get it and make a friend with someone who you'd never in your lifetime normally encounter, make a good friend. And that is how it works, through education. And I know it sounds so simple, but it works. And I've seen it work miracles. And that's why if I ever could have the power to do something, I would put program after program, anti-racism, starting at preschool, and a comprehensive program, not a once a week, not a special little event, not some sort of, I'm talking every single day, like a real live class, like you do math class, every single day. Because you see, here's the thing. White folks are responsible for teaching white folks. People who are in historically marginalized groups do not have a responsibility to teach the oppressor. They don't have a responsibility to do anything. We did this. And the people who are still hanging out and not getting this, they get it. I'm sorry, they get it. They just don't want to get it because they love their racism. And that's my opinion. And I have one. Let me see. I hope that answered your question, Michael. That's how I think it works. And I've seen it. And it is very time consuming. And the learning curve is like, it's like straight up. I'm sorry. It is. It's a lifelong process. We as white people will never get there. But for God's sakes, we should try. I mean, we did this. I don't get it. You're filled with drugs. Kitchen politics. Why are you filled with drugs? Back chiropractor. Chiropractor. I'm sorry. Okay, that's okay. You're forgiven, of course. We just missed your presence. Let me see here. Let me see here. Not Michael. I'm not sure that that people make friends now at all. In my groups, they do. My white supremacy is no. The one group I have, it's been amazing, and it is a small community group, and that is just what it's for. I got to meet people who are transgender. I've got to meet Palestinians. I've gotten to meet people who live in Israel, Quakers, Muslims from all over the world, people I would never get to talk to in a million years, agnostic people, but anyway, I'm a little bit prejudiced or, biased, you could say, towards my pet group that I love. But let me see. Where am I? There has been, oh no, just scrolled. There's been a shared agreement of silence when it comes to racism for both blacks and whites, and we need to stop being quiet, and we need to teach our own. Like I said, Kim, I'm done educating white people. Absolutely. When I tell people who come to my group or to the shows, you have absolutely no obligation whatsoever to do any of this educating. It is a gift. It is an absolute gift. When a person in a historically marginalized group gives you a part of their soul and teaches you and is willing, you shut up and listen. And boy, oh boy, did I have something going on yesterday and the day before with a woman who just didn't get it. She was professing her great advancement and how good she is and all this, but she just was upset that I was saying, that white people need to do something. And there is a huge debate among some people that racism, because we've seen it, and bigotry and all that, is innately kind of inside people. And I have to say, there's probably a component of that. But the fact that teaching and education can have such an impact, I mean, it's a direct impact. Parents who teach their children to look at all humans as people raise children that pretty much, for the most part, look at all humans as people. We might be, okay, I'll go back. And if it can be taught, like Sue Elliott, if it can be taught and socialized, it can be untaught. And sure, we have the propensity to do it. Just look at our country. We do it. But, okay. Progress in school might help. There have been, okay, Michael, programs in school might help. That comprehensive programs. School can do this. Michael, racism used to be culturally and accepted, and the KKK had to go underground. Yeah, well, apparently they're back. Pat, you can't bring along someone who doesn't want to. Just remember, racism is taught, and no one wants to be responsible about it. Yeah, absolutely. Good point, Pat. Yeah, and that's why until we get top down, right now we're grassroots, bottom up. Anyone who gets educated is either doing it for themselves from the ground up. They're not getting it in elementary school. They are not getting it in middle school, and they're not getting it in high school. You might get a tad here and there, but not comprehensive, real understanding, which starts with our real history and real. So, preschool through 12 can brainwash and take, like they do, by not telling the history. How about they tell it and brainwash the other way? As a teacher, I am absolutely convinced that that's the answer. But bottom up is slow. Top down, where programs are implemented at the above level and trickle down to all people, that'll take a generation maybe. I mean, we can solve our problems of racism. We don't have to be like this. And a lot of people tell me, this is just the way it always is going to be. I'm not buying it. Nope. I get we have the propensity to be that way, but no way. Does not have to be this way. It's a choice. said the privileged white lady. But racism, blah, blah, blah. Kitchen politics. I've never, whoa. Let me see. Kitchen politics. I've never seen a more biblical president than Donald Trump. You are on drugs. I'm just kidding. Highly biblical, and in all likelihood, we'll never see a more godly president in our lifetime. Michelle, oh my God. Oh, okay. I thought you were saying that. Sorry. Forgive me. Yeah, I read that. That's like, what are the color of the skies in your world, lady? Whew. That's terrifying. I'm sorry. I thought you were saying that. I'm like, are you being funny, kitchen politics? Are you on more serious drugs than, okay. Michael, to Pat, I disagree. Racism is innate. Education and a focus on the neurocortex and the critical thinking and experience helps. I know my opinion is a minority here, and that is okay, because here, majority might rule, but we allow minorities rights and respect. So you're okay. Sorry, I had to go there. Yeah, I if I hadn't seen it myself, I probably wouldn't believe it. But I've seen, not just my communities, I have seen people change. If you've ever followed, I was a follower of Jane Elliott, and her stuff totally off the charts. It was incredible. People can change. It's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But let me see. Okay. Michael, tribalism is pre-wired into our ancestral brains. The neurocortex is new, and it's the seat of reason. We can empathize and see ourselves in the other, right? And there's a lot of evolutionary biology, and evolutionary stuff that, and Michael, that is a very, very, Michael's actually very, very educated in that area. In fact, he wrote a book on stuff a lot like this. But yeah, we have 3 brains, but I digress. Yeah, that's why we need you on the show. Okay. Neil, it's like the old saying, you can take a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Yeah. I mean, people have to want to, they have to at least slightly want to. If they don't, they're past the point of, I mean, maybe other white folks can help them, but I can't if they're past a certain point. I mean, they have to have a little inkling of caring. Sometimes people aren't ready, but white folks, that we got to educate. You can't just give up. Don't give up. Let me see, Michael, but Pat, I agree with, you can't bring someone along who doesn't want it. Yeah, I mean, Michael, I'm skipping that. I will read that. I will. Anesthesia. We've been here since 1619, and if they haven't learned by now, then pretty much, yeah. I mean, here's my thing, and obviously I'm a white lady, not a black person, but how long do we give? I mean, if you're a black person or a person who's been just abused and crimes against humanity have been done upon you and your ancestors, and how long do you give until you say, screw this, I'm out, I'm done? I mean, how many centuries does it take for white folks to wake the hell up and start acting human? Apparently a lot, because I don't blame people who are just off the charts enraged. How many centuries do you give? This is not like a tough thing. This is not rocket freaking science, okay? It's so obvious and it's so cruel. Yet, folks just, not my problem. Oh, they probably deserve it. I don't know. I'm going on and on. But Anastasia, absolutely. Gary, my history teacher and professor taught the bad parts of our history. One of the reasons I fight racism. That is awesome. And you know what happens to history teachers nowadays who do that? they get in a lot of trouble. In most districts. I'm not, obviously, as a teacher, I've been keeping an eye on this, and there's some really bad things going on that are kind of nuances. And I could go on and on about that. We need a program, preschool through high school, comprehensive, everyday education, direct instruction teaching, experiential, hands-on. People need to feel the pain. And once you've felt the pain and it clicks, there's no going back. I've seen experiential learning click. And it's the best way, because all of a sudden, wow, I kind of get it. Having to live it for 1 second. And that's what I loved about Jane Elliott. She put people through it, and it changed lives. Let me see. Michael, Anastasia, it's rather shocking to see the turn backwards. It's 2019, for God's sake. I'm still shocked. Yeah. The middle class is falling due to our reconstituted aristocracy. As we fall, it's easy and natural to blame the other. Yep. And let me see, what time is it? I wanted to get into for a second, if people want to stay. I know it's getting late, so if you don't, I totally get it. Immigrants being put in sanctuary cities. Trump is doubling down on his cruel immigration policies and sick, depraved stuff. And he's threatened to put people who are not documented with paperwork and are not considered citizens, and those who seek asylum, into sanctuary cities. And this whole thing is just beyond inhumane. But you know what the coolest thing is? Michael, you are so funny. The coolest thing is we're seeing people go, yeah, bring them on, do it. And it's completely just, Trump doesn't, he's like, he doesn't even know what happened. I mean, it's ridiculous. He's discombobulated. He's not telling his people things. He's making up stuff. He's a little confused, because they're not supposed to actually really be that way. They're supposed to just say they care about others, but they're not actually supposed to do it. So I'm pretty happy with how things are going. He's not going to do that. People have told him it's illegal. He can't do that. But he wants to be king. So, and he's a sick guy. So apparently Trump didn't tell the senior people about this. And they basically are telling one thing and he's saying another. And now Republicans are saying he's doing this to, they kind of like spun it into this. We're just trying to do this so that people will come to the table. We're pushing the Democrats' hands. It's like, oh, stop already. Getting pathetic. Michael, Anastasia, since I'm not allowed to flirt with Kim, can I flirt with you? Oh, well, that's lovely. Michael, you're going to be in trouble. Worse. But yeah, so what do you guys think about this dumping people off in, say, like, the guy's a monster. He's a monster. What do you think about the response? Uh-oh. Yes, you're back in trouble now. He's a monster. He's a bad guy. Anyone want to say anything? Like, how about Trump versus Representative Omar? Anybody? I'm going to wrap it up pretty soon because I know I'm blabbing on. The next topic, I'm blown away that Trump is basically, he's a sicko. He's going after this woman. He's now called, like, I guess people call him like the divider in chief, and it's kind of a deserved title. He's getting off light with that one. I could call him a few other things, but Congresswoman Omar sent out a tweet the other day saying that Trump's propagandist retweet of this, I don't know if you guys saw this thing, is a highly inappropriate video equating her as this person who was part of 9/11. I mean, it's any other person on the planet would have their career destroyed. Hi, Kim. I'm chilling with Bodkins, Club Soda on a Wednesday night and watching a vibrant, animated, passionate. Thank you very much. You're very sweet, Michael. I'm going to kill you. Okay, Mike. Yes, you. Yeah. Okay. OCA Kitchen Politics. Kitchen Politics says we should reconsider cutting financial aid to Israel. Oh, OCA says we could. Yeah, and you know what? They'll label her as an anti-Semite. It's like that whole thing with our relationship with Israel. I don't understand. I mean, I'm all about like unconditional love. I'm all about that stuff. But like, this is a country who, don't get me started. But yeah, he's going after AOC and he's going after Omar, and it is unpresidential. It is inhumane. I don't care what people think she did. You're a president in power, and you're trying to get people to get so. I can't even go there. Gary, she is right. He was vile, a dictator, action, or a terrorist chief, not a president. No, he's a horrible, horrible man, and this is a young woman. I mean, the funniest thing, I mean, not funny. When I say funny, it's like laugh instead of cry, because what are you going to do? And I'm going to wrap it up really soon. I know I'm blabbing on, but so Trump says he doesn't care. Okay. So he retweets this thing about 9/11, getting this woman to have threats against her life. My God, is this like some sort of soap opera? Or is it the president? This is the president. We have sunk to the point where, oh, yeah, Michael, yeah. Okay. We've sunk to the point where we don't even, the president is basically going to make one of his own, Congress people get killed. But he's okay with Candace Owens saying racism doesn't exist. I mean, yeah, Anastasia, it's nonsensical. It's ludicrous. Omar said that he was inciting this violence because of his video. And no matter what your feelings are about Representative Omar, Trump said she doesn't know what's going on in real life. Okay, excuse me, is that supposed to be funny? She was a Somalian refugee, for God's sakes. She lived in Kenya in a refugee camp for years, made it to America. She was not born rich with mommy and daddy, being white supremacists and, having these schemes and these fraudulent business deals. And so he is lecturing her on not real life. It's unbelievable. I mean, it goes on and on. It's almost just laughable. Everybody knows that Trump is a total liar who said that Obama was a Muslim born outside the country. For a man who Trump says he wishes her no ill will, he sure has a really sick way of showing it. Even the Fox news host, this is what I heard. I didn't see this. Chris Wallace refused to play more of the retweet. I mean, it's sick. And Sanders says that Trump doesn't wish her ill will. If he doesn't, I mean, I'd hate to actually be an enemy if this is not wishing her ill will. Like, oh my God, he's inciting violence. He's disgusting. And I am going on and on. Anastasia, but he's, okay, Anastasia. Nancy Pelosi is just as bad, saying a glass of water with a D on it could have gotten elected in her district. Wow. Did not know that. Kitchen politics. Ivanka Trump is the running for World Bank head. Yeah, I saw that. Trump says she's good with numbers. Oh, for the love of God. Oh my God. I can't even go there. I saw that and I just, kitchen politics. Candace Owens a fool. Michael, for not being about politics, this is all Trump. Yes. And as I said before, this one is a little bit out of my comfort zone, which I don't even think I have a comfort zone, to be quite frank about it. But because Trump has opened the door to, pretty much everything he does seems to be about racism, bigotry, and inequality, and making sure it sticks. I've delved into it. This time I made it a lot about that, and I probably won't too much in the future because politics isn't really my thing. I'm not good at it, and I don't know much about it. But unfortunately, when a man runs and becomes president and his campaign is based on taking away the human and civil rights away from our fellow humans, and he actually promised it and is doing it, that's when I have to kind of go over to the other side and start to try to learn, because everything about him falls into that category. So last two quick things, and I will say good night to everybody. If you can stay for a minute. The one thing that I wanted to mention was Trump reportedly, news out, I guess it was today or yesterday, basically firing the UN person who is on the Committee for Racial Discrimination and not putting them, good night, Gary, I know you love politics, you're awesome, not putting a person in a place for the UN, despite blocking the renomination of the former person picked by Obama, of course. And he claims that this decision in no way diminishes the global leadership effort to eliminate racial discrimination. And when I read that, I almost barfed. So, kitchen politics, Democratic establishment would rather see Trump as president than nominate a real progressive, of course. And Anton, thank you so much for being here. I'm thrilled that you were here, and have a great weekend to you too. And they all are no good, Pat. You said it, unfortunately. And the last thing I want to mention is they caught that guy, one of the guys that was burning churches. What a really mentally ill man he is. So I want to say good night to everybody. And if you believe, like I do, that it's way past time for white America to step up to the plate and take some racial responsibility, please support my YouTube channel and come to the show and talk and tell your opinion. And I appreciate you more than you will ever know. This means the world to me. And spread the word so that we can get this to white folks who need to hear it. They need to deal with the pain. Right, and I'm going to say good night. And, oh, thank you, Neil. Don't forget to tell your friends to subscribe, and to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much. So if you believe in what I'm trying to do, which is basically show a white person who is talking about racism and survives and lives through it. I mean, people need to do this. Just even if they don't know much, they need to show it's not going to kill you to talk about it. Good night, Michael. Behave yourself. And Neil, thank you so much for that. All right. And I'll say good night to everybody. And I hope I see you next week. And we're going to start having some guests on. And thank you for everything. Good night. You guys are awesome. Made my night. See you next week, or see you online. Bye. Okay. I am done. I think.